Why, hello there, and welcome to the Radical Fabulatorium. On today's episode, I'm going to be speaking with Colin Mochrie and Asad Mecci, members of the traveling hypnosis improvisation show HYPROV. Now, of course, you might recognize the name Colin Mochrie from Whose Line Is It Anyway? Grew up watching that show with Ryan Stiles and Drew Carey and Wayne Brady, so pretty cool to get to chat with them. They're coming to St. John on November 13th, 2024, playing the Imperial Theatre. Shows at 7:30. Tickets are still available, though they're selling out all across the East Coast, so that's pretty cool. Kind of a strange concept, mashing up hypnotism with improvisation. And of course, the improv troupe are crowd members, so that's kind of strange and neat and probably pretty fun. But anyway, I won't give too much away because we chat about that in the interview. So yeah, here's my chat with Colin Mochrie and Asad Mecci of HYPROV. Are you in Newfoundland right now? Or are you?
I'm in Toronto.
You're in Toronto.
I have no idea where Asad is. LA?
Hey, Asad.
Hey, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm in Phoenix at the moment, about to fly out to Newfoundland.
Okay, cool. Yeah, you guys have a show there tomorrow.
That's right. This is St. John, New Brunswick, though, right?
That's right. Yep.
Okay, great.
Often confused with St. John's, Newfoundland, but you know,
it does seem like some kind of error was made where it's like, oh, I can't think of a name. What about like Newfoundland, but take an S off?
Yeah. Well, we're
all the way.
We're particular about spelling out the word saint too. SAINT.
Yeah.
We're pretty. You got to be careful. You got to make sure you spell it.
It's not into abbreviations.
Yeah. All right. So thanks a lot, Colin and Asad, for coming on the show tonight. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
So I'm sure you get asked this question all the time because it's such a unique concept, HYPROV. But maybe you could give my listeners kind of like the rundown of the concept and kind of what it's all about.
Sure. I'm the master hypnotist on the show. I have 20 volunteers. I hypnotize them, whittle it down to the best 4 or 5 hypnotic subjects, and then Colin Mochrie, from Whose Line Is It Anyway, improvises with the people on stage while they are hypnotized. The show is fast-paced. It's action, high energy, above all else. Hilarious because we have the great Colin Mochrie from Whose Line Is It Anyway on the show performing.
Wait, way to sell it.
I'm convinced.
I'm going to go see it.
So the hypnotism came before the addition of the improv.
That's right. So the first, I'd say Colin introduces the show. I do about 10 minutes of hypnosis, hypnotize the volunteers. I'm looking for physiological changes. So I'm looking for changes in rate and location of respiration. So breathing changes, in color changes, light to dark, dark to light. Skin tonus changes. There's shyness and dullness to the skin. Vasodilation, the capillaries in the eyes go like facial expression. They've got a great poker face, riveted attention. So they look at me like I'm the only thing that exists on the planet. And all the other variables kind of drop away. They get tunnel vision. So I'm looking for all these trance indicators. Once I see them, I'll keep them on stage. If I don't see them, I'll ask them to keep. And then Colin Mochrie from Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Like world's greatest living improviser.
The world's greatest living improviser comes on stage and mayhem ensues.
So Colin, you're putting all your trust in Asad to pick the perfect batch of hypnotized audience members.
And you know what? I don't find it easy trusting people. So this has been a real growth for me, this show. Every night I'm off stage watching going, how is this even possible? And every night we end up with people. Every night we find an improv superstar. So I try not to think about it. Just go with it. It seems to be working so far.
So you're not on the stage while Asad's kind of working his magic? You're just taking it all in from the sidelines?
Yeah, if I'm there on stage, I'll go under because I'm pretty susceptible. So, yeah, I go backstage, I check my email, do whatever, try to, keep the energy up. And then, then once we came out, we sort of worked together on what games we're playing. I mean, we have a general set list of games, but during the course of the show, we can, Asad might go, you know what, I think for this particular group, let's try this game. And so it's always changing. It's always different. It's fun.
Okay. And so, Asad, how did you choose, not to put you on the spot here, but how did you choose Colin Mochrie to reach out to? Like, we all know he's the greatest improv World's greatest.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, he's the only one who answered.
Wow. What happened?
Now, was it he who answered, or was it someone on his team who answered?
It was someone on his team.
You had to get through a gatekeeper.
Obviously, the greatest opportunity of my life is to perform with the great Colin Mochrie, of course.
Yeah.
But that being said, yes, I reached out to a number of improvisers. Colin's team immediately responded, and I was shocked. I got to be honest with you, Jay. You just kind of hope and pray and throw out these kind of DMs and hope that somebody is hello, is this thing on? Is somebody out there? And Jeff Andrews, Colin's longtime manager and now my business partner, reached out and said, this is a fascinating idea of combining hypnosis and improv on stage. I'd like to meet you. And then from there, we ended up workshopping the show at the Second City in Toronto, took it on tour, went to the Edinburgh Fringe Festival 2016, 2017. We were brought back because the show did so well. And then 2018, we really toured the show. We did about 50 cities across North America performing and sold out a lot of the shows. Now we've done about 150 cities across America. We have done a sit-down performance, a run off-Broadway at the Darrell Rock Theater. We were covered by the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, Time Out, New Yorker. And then we did 6 months at Harrah's Casino in Las Vegas, where Forbes did a write-up on us and called us crazy comedy, Jay, crazy comedy. And then from there, back out on tour, traveling around, doing a 57-city tour across North America, 35 cities across Canada, and kicking off, this weekend on Sunday in St. John's, Newfoundland, not to be mistaken with St. John, New Brunswick.
That's right.
Completely different places, but just wanted to say that St. John's, Newfoundland, plural, is actually going to be sold out. We got tickets. We sold 100
Fantastic.
tickets so far.
Very cool. I saw Moncton and Fredericton sold out as well in New Brunswick. So
yeah, we're Colin. Just so you know, selling out the East Coast of Canada.
And we were there. Was it last year?
Yeah, I think it's 2023. Yeah. I think so. Yeah.
So, it's nice that they decided to give us another chance.
For sure. Yeah, well, we appreciate when people come out to the true East Coast, because a lot of people think the East Coast ends in Montreal or Quebec City. So, you know what I mean? And actually, we got quite a bit of comedy happening here now. Like Tom Green is in St. John tonight.
I know, I saw that.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's we love the audiences there. They really responded to the show. We had great participants, and it's a beautiful part of the country. So it's kind of a win-win-win-win.
Mm-hmm. I was curious so when someone's getting hypnotized, I know you've mentioned, Asad, that you look for those cues, and I know not everyone has the ability to be hypnotized, from my understanding. But how do you deal with like a skeptic or someone who's trying to kind of like sneak into the show and maybe play along when they're not really hypnotized? Or maybe you've never encountered that, but
oh god, yeah, we have.
So the audience can kind of tell too. They just are so over the top.
Okay,
Jay. Like, I mean, it's so a lot of the tells, without giving too much away.
Yeah,
a lot of these trance indicators come in clusters, so they happen pretty much simultaneously. So you'll see changes in breathing, and then you'll see riveted attention. So these things will happen at the same time. If they don't happen in clusters, usually it's a bit of a put on. So I ask those people to leave. Every once in a while I'll get burned. But majority of the time, pretty good at picking out who's going to be the most receptive and who's faking it, and get rid of them. I'd say the majority of the people, they're honest and willing subjects. They're not out there to kind of mess with the show or mess with us. They're out there to, to really experience it. And it is such a normal, natural state. Everybody goes in and out of hypnotic trance states all the time. So I'll give you an example. So you watch a movie and you get so caught up in what you're watching that you're moved to an emotional response. So you jump in your chair in a scary movie when you're watching it. Or you cry when you watch a tearjerker. So those are real tears, right? That's not put on. I'm not faking it.
Mm-hmm.
So when people come up on stage and they immerse fully in the show, they have all of these experiences. And for them, in that moment in time, it's really real.
Okay. Yeah, that's a great example, actually. So, 'cause I guess I would imagine people think like hypnotism is kind of like, you kind of imagine that like what you'd see in a movie, or like that mystical, like you've lost control of all your senses or something like that.
Yeah, people don't really. I mean, that's what I thought when I realized when I first got together with Asad that all my knowledge of hypnotism came from the Flintstones, which apparently it's not something you should base that on. Yeah, they're not losing any sense of their identity. They're not. They are aware of everything that's happening during the entire show. It may look like they're sleeping, but they're not. They're just totally aware. It's just the part of the brain that tells them they can't do it is kind of gone for that period of time. So they just react like pure improvisers.
Okay.
And I have to say at this point that the big part of this show is faith and trust. We're not there to make fun of our hypnotized people. Mm-hmm. They are part of our improv troupe. So we're very supportive of them. Asad is always very careful dealing with them. And if he sees any kind of a trouble, he's quick to take care of that. Our subtext is no one will ever have to cluck like a chicken at the show.
Okay. Or they won't leave accidentally hypnotized.
Yeah.
I want to mention that because I want to bring a good point up. Good point, Colin.
Thank you.
I'm going to speak to your point. So the old time hypnotist shows like like a dog, quack like a duck, that kind of stuff. So this is not that. The part that deals with self-reflection is disconnected. So people no longer reflect on their behavior. So they're more prone to do things that are outrageous on stage. That being said, we're an instant improv troupe. We create an instant improv troupe with them, and Colin is kind of like the head improviser and improvises with them while they're hypnotized. So it's not laughing at them, it's laughing with them, and we're creating a synergistic environment where we're a troupe and we're working together. So that's kind of the concept behind the show that differentiates it from like the old timey bark like a duck, like a chicken. If that's what you want to see, you're not going to see that show.
Okay.
Colin is singing a full-on ballad with them, a pop song with them, spontaneously and on the spot. And Colin is like riffing, he is rhyming, they're rhyming at the same time. When it goes great, and the majority of the time it's fantastic, it's like nothing you've ever seen before because it's instantaneous. It's happening right there, right before your very eyes, and it's happening on the spot. It's mind-blowing.
Okay. Yeah, that's very cool. And thinking about that, Colin, I wouldn't mind hearing you talking about, you mentioned Asad about, you form this kind of instantaneous improv troupe. Mm-hmm. I'd love to hear you, Colin, talk about that, like the give and take of improv, because normally you'd be working with a troupe you're familiar with. Isn't that kind of normally how it would go? But in this case...
That's usually it. But I have made part of my career working with people that I don't know, because I find that sort of gets me back to my roots of improv, and it really makes me have to listen because I can't take anything for granted like I would with like Ryan or Wayne on Whose Line. So, and this has a double thing where they're also hypnotized. And what I love about it, I think I said this before, they become pure improvisers. They immediately react honestly to everything Asad and I say. They don't, and they truly are living in the moment. They don't have a future. They're not going, oh, if I say this will lead to the point where, we can wrap up the story. It's just like, here's some more information. And that's the fun part of it. It's just like, oh, and then it becomes kind of a puzzle for me how to wrap everything up. And they certainly help. They're not trying to throw roadblocks in my way, but sometimes it's just, I was just so ready to finish this scene, and now I have to deal with this. So it keeps us both on our toes.
Okay. Sounds like 2 layers of improv. It's
amazing to watch.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Sorry, Jay. It's amazing to watch Colin. He gets back into these corners, and it's like, I studied improv at the Second City, levels A through D, but what he's doing is so advanced, it's incredible to watch on stage. I mean, I'm like, how is he going to get out of this? I have no idea how Colin is going to get out of this when they back him into a corner or they ask, like they break every single rule of improv up there. Like every single asking questions, breaking rules, saying no, breaking rules, not sending, breaking rules, like breaking all the fundamental rules of improv, like just completely not using anything related to blocking. So stopping a concept and like, saying no to them, saying no to Colin. But Colin always finds a way to figure it out and make it hilarious.
I am an expert at saving my ass.
As the world's best improv.
Exactly. I'm a veteran player. I know exactly what I have to do to get out unscathed.
So does that mean, Asad, like after you hypnotize everyone, you just kind of clean your hands of the situation, throw it to Colin and be like, I'll see you in a couple hours when you're done?
Sort of. I every once in a while. And I'll kind of throw in little twists and turns to help Colin out along the way, or to one of the way, either way. But I would say that the majority of the time, they are unlocking their creative genius. That's the main thing. Or like their comedic genius. Okay. Because first-time improvisers, what they do is they play to the crowd. They look nervous and they hesitate. They use filler words. They like, they do all this kind of very much amateur-esque behavior when they're doing improv. But the people who are hypnotized, no ums, no ahs, they just immediately react without hesitation, without question. And then they become committed to the scene. So it makes for really good improv. Okay. They don't know any of the rules of improv, and they definitely don't follow any of the rules of improv. But somehow it works.
So they're able to kind of commit right away, without any fear of, I guess, judgment, probably. Yeah,
exactly. It's amazing. We do one scene where they're all experts. They're the smartest people in the world. We get audience members ask questions. And like Asad said, there's no hesitation. They will answer, and let me just say, their answers aren't always scientifically correct. But they're incredibly committed, and you go, that's all you need in improv, because this is your world. That may not be right in your world, what I just said, but here it is absolutely correct.
Okay. Now, is that kind of like a life hack or a career hack, Colin? Like you've worked so long at being an improv actor, and then you see this hypnotist show up and just kind of go, boom, everyone's an amazing improv actor.
I know, it does. It kind of hurts a little, but how easy it is. But thankfully, everyone is in their own way.
Okay.
So you need a hypnotist to get out of their way. And I have a tight rein on Asad. I know where he is at all times.
Okay. That's funny. Maybe we could talk a little bit about, so maybe, correct me if I'm mistaken, but like kind of like Asad, you had a record that came out yesterday with some tracks co-written by Rufus Wainwright. Is that right?
Oh, breaking news right here.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. Oh.
That's very true. Yes. I'm working with Rufus Wainwright on an album entitled An Exploration of Hypnotic Sound. And now Rufus created a track for our off-Broadway production, which was the engine portion of the show. So essentially that's him humming, and then he's using some instruments, but it's mostly his vocals. Mm-hmm. Very hypnotic.
Yeah.
That's the track that I use to hypnotize people. So we created an album, Sarah Power, my wife, as well as John Hilson, who is our current pianist on the show, HYPROV, and then Eric Gerson, another pianist that works with us on HYPROV. We created an album, and one of the tracks has to do with positive affirmations and awakening. Another has to do with falling asleep and sleep quality. It's one with John Hilson. And then the Rufus Wainwright track has to do with creativity. So it's Rufus singing and using his beautiful angelic hypnotic voice, and then me talking over that track, giving guided imagery around promoting creativity. Okay. So a pretty wild album, very different, very, very different. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, very calming.
An exploration of hypnotic sound. That's right.
And one of the tracks is used in the show HYPROV?
So the one track was used in New York.
Oh, okay.
That was, and it's entitled "Thy Peace," and that was created by Rufus for the show. But no, we're not using that in our track version of it. It has to do with rights and this, that, and the other.
Gotcha.
So it's complicated, Jay.
No, yeah,
but we won't be using that back in the show. But you can get a copy of the album at our show. So if you come to our show, you can definitely get a download and a copy of it.
Yeah, very cool. Okay, yeah, not to go off on too much of a tangent there. I just saw it pop up
No worries.
and I was listening to it this morning.
Tangents. Made a gaffe earlier for all the grammarians out there. It is St. John's possessive, not plural.
Wow.
I mean, sorry.
I didn't want to say anything. I mean, it's a rookie mistake. We all make them.
Colin just left you out, left you out there to dry.
We're going to be performing St. John, New Brunswick.
That's right, at the Imperial Theatre, the beautiful Imperial Theatre. But okay, so how do you? Let's get back. I got distracted everyone with the music talk. I apologize, but going back to the improv, how do you choose what games to play or what stories to go for each night?
We have a list of games, and we're constantly trying to come up with new ones. Sometimes we just go, hey, we'll talk about something in the afternoon, and go, well, let's try it tonight. When we first started the show, the games were pretty simple. And then we discovered, you know what, we can use them more, and they're capable of doing more complex games. The games have to be simple to explain to them. Like you can't go into a deep, every second word, if there's an S, it's changed to an L, and you have none of those. It's like, in this scene, you're in love with Colin, you want him to propose to you. In this scene, you're a bad guy, you're trying to talk your way out of going to jail. In this scene, we're all mourning something. So as long as there's some sort of simple explanation, they can pretty much do anything.
Okay. They can go with the flow as long as it's not too complicated.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, do they ever have to... So I guess there wouldn't be any throwbacks to previous...
Yeah, there are.
There are throwbacks. Okay.
That's what freaked me out the first time it happened, because I was like, wow, you weren't in that scene. They, they look like they're sleeping. They're kind of slumped over. Mm-hmm. They're just incredibly relaxed and listening to everything. So they will, we get callbacks all the time.
Okay.
It's great.
That's cool. And what kind of reactions do you see from participants, like family members or friends that they've come to the show with? That must be one of the best parts.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You can tell they're seeing, oh, why is Uncle Frank? I've never seen Uncle Frank do this before. He usually just sits in the corner during parties. And here he is singing a song and being a pop star. And that's, and I hope other people see that, because, a lot of people come to the show with a lot of skepticism towards, both improv and hypnosis. Okay. So it's also, in addition to, having a great fun show, we also want to change those skeptics into believers, or at least have more of an understanding of what hypnosis is. Okay. So when you're seeing someone that act in a way that they don't usually act, that is a real stamp of, okay, this is a real thing.
Okay. That's really interesting. So you might have two worlds colliding, a skeptic of improv and a skeptic with hypnotism, but then they leave converted, convinced of both. Yeah.
No, we found one place where they can come together, disbelieve, and then change their ways.
It's like a church.
It's a church of non-believers.
Okay. That's very cool. That's fun. That sounds exciting. So that's happening on November 13th here in St. John at the Imperial Theatre. So that's pretty exciting. And you'll be doing Newfoundland, Fredericton, Moncton, St. John, Halifax. So that's a really solid East Coast run for anyone listening. You can check out any of those dates. Well, actually, you can't get to Fredericton, Moncton because they're sold out.
Oh,
you snooze, you lose. Maybe we could just end it off on, I kind of like, so I used to play music and I was in the band, I was a manager, like kind of behind the scenes. So I kind of like to throw some love or shed some light on people behind the scenes who are making things happen. Like you mentioned your your business partner, Jeff Andrews, and you mentioned Sarah Power. Is there anyone else you would like to just kind of throw out there that's helped build the show and kind of get it to where it is today?
Yeah, I mean, Sarah and Jeff, as producers, have certainly done a lot to figuring out what this piece is. And John Hilson is our musical director. Okay. He played improv piano at a huge theater in Minneapolis. So he has a long And actually, while we were doing this, he created his own show called Life Robotic, which is a improv show dealing with a robot and includes the audience sending messages for the robot's dialogue.
Cool.
So he's been a big part also with his music adds so much. I can't even imagine what the show would be like without a musician.
Okay. So he's like behind the scenes, like for each scene, he's laying down a soundtrack. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah, and he plays the induction music while Asad is putting people under.
Okay. That's very cool.
Absolutely phenomenal artist. Incredible, astounding to watch every night. He is playing improvised music and underscoring throughout every scene. Mm-hmm. So at times you get so absorbed into the music while the scene is going on. It really adds that extra punch to the scenes.
Okay. Yeah, that's very cool. Is there any plans to take it international?
We have done the Edinburgh Festival.
Okay.
We did Just for Laughs in London. There's always talk of going to other places. Mm-hmm. I'm sure that's kind of in the works, and we'll see how that goes.
Actually, there's language.
Believe it or not, Jay, Whose Line Is It Anyway has been aired in 108 English-speaking countries around the world.
Wow.
Here we go.
So we are actively pursuing international touring, Colin. Just so you know, buddy. Yep. Australia, New Zealand, we're coming for Africa, perhaps Brazil. We'll see, man.
Yep.
It's dubbed in Brazil.
I forgot how much they love me in Brazil.
Mm-hmm. Get ready to take a bunch of selfies and shake a bunch of hands.
Yeah.
Does the language barrier ever play into hypnotism, Asad?
Yeah, so it has to be an English-speaking hypnotist with an English-speaking volunteer.
Okay. Yeah.
It would be problematic the other way around, it'd be problematic if languages weren't. It was an English-speaking hypnotist and another fluent individual in another language. It would work.
It wouldn't work. Okay. Yeah.
We sell the franchise, of course. But, French hypnotists, French improvisers.
Yeah.
There you go.
HYPROV the franchise.
That's it. I agree.
Yeah. It's a HYPROV.
Just let me know the buy-in, and I guess I'm already English, so never mind. But yeah, you could. That's a great idea. Franchise fee, grow.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to drop into the conversation, Asad or Colin, before we call it a day?
Yeah, I'm going to say that the show is family friendly. We ask for 12 and up, 18 years of age or older to participate. Okay. I will tell you that we don't pick on anybody. So we don't, a lot of people are like, I don't want to go to the show. What if I get picked? We don't pick on anybody. It's all on a volunteer basis. So you have to decide to go out. If you want to immerse yourself fully into a show, enjoy your night, and just forget about the problems of the world. Come see HYPROV because it'll make you laugh. So it'll make you laugh so hard that you cry.
Perfect. I'm sold. I've been laughing this whole conversation, so I can't wait to see how much laughter is involved in the full-on show.
Pressure's on.
Pressure's on with world famous Colin Mochrie. All right. Well, I really appreciate you guys giving me some of your time today. I hope you all the best. I'm really excited you're coming out to the East Coast for so many dates, and I'm sure lots of folks are excited to take in the show.
Thanks for having us, Jay.
Yeah, anytime.